You see the little shit going. That's a video.
What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn claims that Daniel Kinahan has been steering Tyson Fury's career for the past few years. Okay, Eddie Hearn has told The Athletic that reported mob boss Daniel Kinahan negotiated for Tyson Fury in his fights against Deontay Wilder as well. Now, backstory, guys, you know of Daniel Kinahan's involvement with the new super fight deal with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, and when networks became aware of that, they began to step back. Okay, well, according to Eddie Hearn, Daniel Kinahan has been that guy, that silent partner, that angel investor, so to speak, for quite some time, including his ties with the previous fights with Deontay Wilder. Okay, so let's look at Eddie. Eddie Hearn, who promotes Anthony Joshua, recently addressed the fallout between Fury versus Joshua in a deal that involved of Kinahan in an article by The Athletic. Okay. Eddie says that Kinahan has worked in boxing a long time and has represented Fury for about 3 years, responded Hearn. His answer is contrary to what Fury's management company, MTK Global, has been saying for years. Okay, that their former co-founder was no longer involved with the company or their clients. Hearn went on to expose how involved Kinahan has been in Fury's career, claiming that the reported crime boss was responsible for negotiating Fury's biggest fights. He says, so, when Fury signed with Queensberry Promotions, Kinahan did that deal. When he signed with ESPN and Top Rank, he did that deal. When he signed to fight Otto Wallin and Safari, and when he signed to fight Wilder twice, he did those deals. So it was no surprise for me that I was asked to negotiate with Fury's advisor, which was Daniel Kinahan, for that fight. Hearn then said the backlash against the deal was surprising since, according to him, everyone in boxing knows Kinahan's role. Hearn further claimed that everyone who works in boxing has at some point either dealt with him or heard of moves he's been making. From what I have seen and read, the decision for him to step back and step out and because of the backlash, I don't mean to sound cold-hearted, but I just want to make the undisputed fight, so if I have to negotiate with him, I negotiate with him to make the fight. Hearn also said, if I have to negotiate with Arum, I negotiate with him. If I have to negotiate with Warren, I will do that. So I was focused on doing that. Obviously, now it makes it a lot easier and calmer to do that deal, but he's been guiding Fury's career for a long time from a dark place to where he is now. Okay, wow. A lot of people asking about Daniel Kinahan. My peoples in the UK, you guys know who he is, but for the US, Daniel Kinahan is, a part of, or linked, is a person of interest in 3 murders for hire plots, okay, targeting suspected members of the Hutch gang. The Kinahan cartel and the Hutch gang have been wearing since Gary Hutch, a former Kinahan operative, was executed in Spain in 2015. So, to stop right there, he's in some pretty heavy shit, okay? Daniel Kinahan. But he's also has a big foot in boxing. And I don't know if it's true with what Eddie's saying, but you can assume that Daniel Kinahan and Tyson Fury has had a relationship before the Joshua Fury negotiations. So, I mean, I don't doubt it. But what Eddie's saying, he wasn't knocking it. He was just saying like, well, why are you all surprised? You know, he's been doing this for a long time. So why is everybody all of a sudden, you know, tripping because Daniel Kinahan, a mobster that's known and has ties to other fuckery, is involved in the biggest deal. He's been in other big fights. Okay. Fury and Wilder, you know, hey, that was a big fight for those two guys. Okay. So if he was involved in that, what's the difference now? I think the difference is the reputation of these companies, because this is like the pinnacle of heavyweight boxing. I feel that a lot of people heard Mr. Kinahan's name, and then, you know, they were like, oh, no. You know, they became apprehensive to make a fight, especially with a fight with that much money on the line, you know. But Eddie Hearn was just like, hey, I made the deal with him. I worked with him because he was his advisor, you know. And I think he connected the dots to those other fights previous, because he's like, okay, what's the difference? He's been working with him this far. Obviously, he knows what the hell he's doing, because he was able to get a fight to that magnitude together between two guys from two different fighters, but from two different promotional companies and with two different promoters all together. And most importantly, two rival promoters on all sides. You look at Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn. You look at Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn. Those guys don't work well together because though both of those guys have beef. You know, they're competitors. So, you know, of course they won't have, you know, too much of a positive insight or words towards each other. Okay, so he was able to get that done. But, you know, moving forward, I feel that, you know, Tyson Fury, if he's involved in that type of stuff, there's been a lot of people involved with a lot of people that's been involved with a lot of other stuff. So what does it really mean? Tyson Fury, at the end of the day, is a boxer. You know, he got a guy that had his hand in other things, but was also able to land this deal. And if it's the case, if Daniel Kinahan Daniel Kinahan, if he was involved in it, you know, and if he was involved in other things, so be it, you know, because it's all about getting the fights made. Now, I understand, you know, certain people don't want to be attached to, you know, other people. I get that. But if you've already been involved, don't pretend that you weren't involved or you didn't know. Now, that I can't stand, because a lot of people, you know, they will tolerate certain things to get certain results. And I noticed that. You know, and I guess they couldn't tolerate it for this particular fight. But anyway, that's my counterpunch on that. You guys tell me what you think about Eddie Hearn's comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.